Hi, thank you so much for coming back to the Helioscope YouTube channel. I'm Leila Del Duca, and today I'm talking with Terry Dodson and Karl Kesel, and we are all talking about our Kickstarters that we have going on currently. First off, how about you guys introduce yourselves and tell me a little bit more about the projects you're crowdfunding? Karl, do you want to go first?
Sure. I'm Karl Kesel, and I'm crowdfunding kickstarting the newest Impossible Jones book, which is actually a collection of the last four team up books. We did four books, which we foolishly called A, B, C, and D, not one, two, three, four. We're collecting together the Impossible Jones stories from those in a hardcover, oversized book, about 252 pages right now. Although right now our current stretch goal is for 4 more pages. And Arthur Adams is doing a fold out that will be in the back, which I'm really anxious to see myself.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing. Awesome. Terry, what are you funding?
I am funding the art of Rachel and Terry Dodson. It's going to be a career retrospective of our work. It's a pretty cool book. It features from sketch to pencils to inks to colors of everything we've done. Not everything, but a lot of the things we've done. And we do commentary on every piece. The book is 180 pages. There's a soft cover and a hardcover version of it for the Kickstarter. But it's really nice. It's a good chance to see high quality scans from at the pencil stage and at the ink stage. Rachel does amazing inking. It's really tough to tell that in the print stage. But so this is a nice chance to see some high quality scans of her work. But it's nice. You get to see our artwork sans lettering. It's just nice, especially on the cover work. This is the book itself. This is the $80 hardcover version. With the hardcover actually has the signed book plate by Rachel Iori in it. This is the book. They'll be shipping in May if you back the Kickstarter. So we're really excited. It's the first chance that we've had a book like this just on our work.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really special. I think both of your books are going to be amazing.
And what are you doing, Leila?
Yeah, what am I doing? I am funding a hardcover edition of Sleepless, issues 1 through 11. We're collecting the whole series into one hardcover, which is the way we always intended this book to be read. We want it to be bingeable. It was originally published by Image Comics and collected into 2 trade paperbacks, but this is a way for everyone who loved the series and everyone who likes romance fantasies to just have the series all in one beautiful gold foil hardcover.
I think the cover looks beautiful.
Thank you. That's been honestly the funnest part of doing this campaign so far was making the cover illustration.
And you're the artist on the book, Leila?
Yes, I am the artist on the book. Sarah Vaughn wrote it. Alyssa Salah edited and colored it, and World Design lettered it.
Okay, very cool.
So, what has been the biggest challenge in your campaign so far?
I'd actually say our Kickstarters, the challenge has been fairly minimal. John Flesk, who is the publisher of Flesk, is the one that has launched the Kickstarter, and I think this is about his 20th Kickstarter he's done for his books. I know this is my very first Kickstarter. The one thing that on this particular time that it has been kind of a challenge is that international shipping is outrageous. I mean, the shipping to anywhere outside the U.S. is more than the price of the books that people are pledging for, and I just feel bad that we're kind of having to deal with that as a side effect. It has nothing to do with the book itself, nothing to do with the campaign. But the good news is that the campaign has met its pledge, and so we are going to be able to distribute the book worldwide through normal book distribution comic book shops starting in August or September.
Oh, wonderful.
So for the international buyers or people that are interested who don't want to pay all that money for shipping, the books should be in their shops. The difference being they'll be the kind of the mass market version. They won't be the signed and numbered. And obviously if you do back the campaign, there's all the bonus stuff that you get, postcards, prints, stickers, etc. that only come with the Kickstarter itself. But that has been, for me personally, that's a challenge. Just seeing how many fans I have worldwide who I know personally, some of these people that are just like, I can't, deal with that, paying $90 for a $40 book.
Mm.
shipping.
Yeah.
That's a challenge just for me. And I've actually decided that for the next campaign I will do a signed book plate, I think, for exclusively for international buyers. So assuming checking on the price of shipping for that, though. That's relatively cheap shipping. We're going to do that because I really want people to have something, have them. I want to have all the international people be involved somehow.
Yeah. Can I say something about that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Karl, go ahead.
Yeah, and maybe Leila, you know about this or don't, but international shipping and shipping to Canada, even Canada, is phenomenally expensive. And I highly recommend pirateship.com, because what they do for all their internationals is you send your books to a facility and they put them in a big airplane and fly the airplane over and then like drop them in France, and it goes into the French postal service. It cuts down the cost tremendously,
Okay.
tremendously.
Okay. That's good
And
to know. I'll mention
yeah,
some
if you want to ship it straight from you to France, it's costs an arm and a leg.
right.
But all my international goes through Pirate Ship.
You're
Wow.
not the only one to recommend them for sure. Yeah,
How
that
would-
would be a great
what-
thing.
What's your percentage of because we can look on our Kickstarters and see what percentage of our buyers are American compared to everywhere else. We're at about 10% international, 90% America because of that shipping. What
Yeah,
do you guys know?
I don't know about me. Leila probably knows hers, but I never look at my stats.
Okay.
Yeah, I have been looking at my stats, but our international backers are only to Canada. We didn't actually offer this book
Oh.
to anywhere besides the United States and Canada because we
Oh.
didn't want to mess with the exorbitant shipping rates
Right.
overseas. So yeah, we ultimately made that decision. However, we are offering our book to retailers overseas. It makes more sense to ship 5 or more books
Yeah.
and then have them distribute it to readers that way. So if
Okay.
you are an international retailer, email me and we'll make a special tier just for your shop, and we will allow you to get our book that way. Yeah, that's how we're doing it. Karl, what about you?
My biggest challenge? Yeah,
Oh
my
yeah,
big,
what's your
I've
biggest-
done, I don't know, 5 or 6 of these Impossible Jones Kickstarters. Um, so running the Kickstarter, I actually enjoy. It's a full-time job, but I enjoy the challenge of it. I enjoy the having to think on your feet a lot of times. Like, I look and I go, oh my God, I'm at 649 backers. So you put together a graphic saying one more backer and we're at 650. And it's like politics, when politicians say people love to be asked for money. People love to be asked to support your book. They really respond to it. Not 100%, not all the time, but very, very, very often. So that's not my challenge. But my challenge is finding new eyes, getting the book in front of new people, because more and more, the more times you do these Kickstarters, the more you get your base support group together, and they know I want to be there on day one. So you launch great, and like the second or third day, it's like cricket, 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 and that's when you have to find the new eyes, and that is really hard. That is really, really hard, at least for me.
I'll say, well, Leila, you can answer it, but just to finish on what Karl's thought there about the new backers or more backers, that with my campaign ending in 3 or 4 days, I knew that I was doing Emerald City a week before the campaign ended, and so I saw the lower numbers, but I knew I'd be for three or 4 days in a row. I'd be able to show the book and talk to people, and I actually saw that number hit the campaign. Those people I could tell went home and made those orders, and then I'm doing a podcast today. I'm doing one tomorrow, a live one tomorrow night. That'll be a day and a half before my campaign ends. That's me trying to hit everyone right before it ends, because I think that's a point where people generally jump on it. Sounds like you guys would know that you've done Kickstarters, but
yeah, a lot of people always respond to the idea that, oh, I'm almost out of time.
right.
If it's going to be around for a couple of weeks, I'll get to it next Tuesday. But if it's
Right.
ending in 2 days, I better do it now, or it's going to be out and gone, and I will cry myself to sleep tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's exactly the reason I'm doing the kind of my final push at the end, because I feel like it'll impact the most people, because I do want people to know about it. I do want new people, and I think that's probably the smartest time to do it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully
Leila,
having hopefully having a YouTube video to our subscribers helps out a little bit too, because I think we only have a certain amount of followers on each social media site, right? And only a few people, or I don't know, a few to a lot of people share that stuff, but we only can reach a certain amount of people on social media. So
Yeah.
the more social medias that we advertise on, the better. The social media question brings me to one of my questions I had, which is like, what's a solid social media strategy? I feel like we're all kind of going about it slightly differently, but Karl, you are very vocal, and so I'd like to start with you. What?
I am. I didn't
Yeah,
realize that.
and it's
I mean,
great.
I try to post multiple times a day, and just because you never know when someone's going to be on looking, you never know. And I try different strategies, partly just to keep myself interested. This time around, I will say most times I kickstart a book that's not done, so I don't have a lot of art to show. This time I have a lot of art to show because it's 4 whole issues that we finished long ago, although we're doing some more new pages for the book. So I can go through that and I can find, oh, this is a cool image, and maybe then I can write a little description about that particular character and why that character is cool and why you should really read this book because the character is cool. Focus on different stretch goals and stuff. I think I'm kind of losing the thread of your question. But once again, I know one of the things on social media that I stress constantly to the backers is, people I don't know. And those people like the same things you like. And they will thank you for telling them about Impossible Jones because they're going to like it too. And, I think that is a huge hurdle for a lot of people to get over. The idea of, and I say, share as much as you can. And some people, I share once, that's all I really feel comfortable doing. I understand that. Liking helps a lot too, because liking gets you up in the algorithm and again, in front of more eyes. So if you can't share or you've reached your sharing limit, just hit that like button. No one knows you're going to do it, but it makes a huge difference for me, for this side of the table. I don't know. Is there anything specific you've noticed, Leila, that I do?
Well, I've noticed that you're good at coming up with new things to say, or like the same things to say in a new way. Like, and
Yeah.
none of your posts are the same, and they're all like really energetic and fun to read, honestly. But you're a funny guy in general. I feel like you're very good at being funny and energetic online. So I don't know. I just feel like your strength is there, and it's really cool.
Well, I think that also reflects the book. I hope. I hope that if I was doing, some noir story, I probably would have a whole different approach to the posts. But it does reflect the book. But I'm glad you like it because I do try to make them entertaining. And I will tell you, here's another thing, and really this is like shop talk. I personally feel it's very important to only speak to one person. So I always say, you know you want this. I don't say, you all know you want this. No, you know you want this.
That's useful. That's really, I don't think I've been doing that. I might actually start
I do
trying.
in the updates too. I write the updates to a single person. I never write it to the group. I don't ever say, thank you, everyone. I say, thank you and 143 of your closest friends for supporting this book.
Beautiful. I love that. All right. Well, Terry, what is your social media strategy? Because like you and Flesk are both working together on this, right?
Correct. Yeah. So I have the advantage that, again, John Flesk of Flesk Publications has done a number of Kickstarters, and he has a super advantage of having a mailing that goes out to every single backer of all of his previous Kickstarters. Plus, he has his backers of his own publication. So every week he does a new email that goes out to everyone that is on those lists, and so it's a weekly update on that. That's a week stuff every week beforehand and during, and then he does posts on Facebook and on Instagram. And then I do not quite daily, but almost daily updates on that stuff. Now, a weird thing happened for me that the new issues of Adventure Man are shipping at the exact same time within reason of this Kickstarter, and I'm trying not to confuse or give my followers too many things to try to keep track of. So I try to stagger these things in different places to make sure that they're not confused or overwhelmed being asked and told about something. So that's a little tough, especially like once this Kickstarter ends, the whole next week I'll be telling them about it, the issue of Adventure Man that's coming out, and then we have the Adventure Man, the collection that we're putting together right now. So my brain's going, okay, I know all this information. Don't do what I'm doing right now and tell everybody this stuff because it's too much. But besides that, since I'm so used to promoting my own book that promoting the Kickstarter is really simple. And John said I'm the best one, not the best. Sorry, he's very happy with what I'm doing as far as promoting the Kickstarter. He said you look like you've been promoting things before, and I'm very used to promoting my own creator-owned work.
So how I'm approaching my own Kickstarter campaign is kind of a mix between the two, perhaps, of you and Karl. So I've been posting 2 to 3 times a day, and I've taken pull quotes from the series. And so I'll usually do like a pull quote or like a character spotlight, and then also I built this in on purpose to keep social media fresh. I'm posting a new piece of artwork every day, so
Yeah,
that's
I've noticed that. Yeah.
yeah, so it's just like another excuse to kind of like have people come back to the page and then
Mhm.
also have something new that's not the same thing said over and over again about the campaign. So yeah, hopefully that works out, and it's been cool going through my art for this series too and kind of reminding myself like, man, I actually really think that what I did was beautiful here, and I hope other people think so too.
Yeah, and then there's times where you go, "Oh my God, look what I did!" Look,
Yeah,
at
let's
least
just
that
not
happens to me.
same. And I'm like, let's just not show those pages to the internet.
Yeah, I do think it's good to rotate the imagery
Yeah,
because
yeah,
trying to not just use the book cover or whatever all the time. I think we get pretty inert to that. We don't get very numb to seeing that same thing over and over again. We just block it out. So it's important to give the viewer, something different to look at. Plus, all of our stuff has so much stuff in it that it's easy for us to choose, especially being the artists ourselves or working on the book that we know it pretty intimately and know what our favorite things are. And hopefully that's what the fans will be attracted to as well.
yeah. I
Yeah.
know on my stuff, on my posts, first of all, I always make them square because I read the best on phones. No matter what angle you turned it, you took up the most real estate if it was a square image. But I always have impossiblekickstarter.com at the bottom, always, so that people can see that it's not a link, but at least they can see it. And this time around, I kind of fell into this. I just have this little bar on the side, which has a very small image of the cover of the book, because I realized I was doing a lot of images of the supporting players, these, the villains, the heroes of the book, and they weren't Impossible Jones. They weren't the main character. And I wanted people to know kind of what they were getting. You know what I mean? So I just have this little tiny sidebar down in the lower right that has a little cover, and it says something like the only thing missing is you, something like that, to try to emphasize again, we need you, we need you. I've never done that part before. I just kind of fell into it this time. Like I said, because I wouldn't know this was for Impossible Jones if I didn't know it was for Impossible Jones, And I think sometimes actually that's a good thing. Sometimes you can use that to your advantage, but I think the majority of the time you want people to know what you're trying to get them to support.
Any general thoughts or advice to people trying to do a Kickstarter campaign?
Well, it's a full-time job. I mean, it really is. I know the first time I did a Kickstarter, when I didn't understand anything about it, I posted in the morning and then I would work on my paying job. And then at noon, I would see what was going on. And I think I actually had a chart. I had actually worked out a chart for the first Section 0 book. And each day I knew exactly what I was going to talk about. And I put once in the morning, once at noon, and once at night. And that almost didn't fund. because I didn't understand how Kickstarters worked. And I did not talk it up at all. So I think you have to realize this really is a full-time job. I think that's how you're going to get your best results. I know a lot of people who do Kickstarters have a full-time job, and I don't know how they do it. I just don't know how they do it. I mean, there's a lot of strategies about initial goals and stuff, but I don't know if that's the sort of stuff you want to get into. As I said before, I mean, if you're starting a Kickstarter, one of the things you have to think about is your initial goal. And there's a lot to be said about hitting your initial goal very quickly, because people, it's counter. People like to support a winner, and if they see you're winning, they want to give you more money. And if they see you're not making that goal, they think, in broad terms, you're a loser. I'm not going to back this. It's not going to make its goal, even though if they backed it, maybe it would make its goal. It's that's just how human nature is. So I, and basically I made this mistake the first few times around, where I actually set a goal, which is the amount of money I really needed. And like I said, that first section 0 almost didn't fund. We earned a third of the funding on the last day. So it was like the internet beast woke up. It was really amazing. But anyways, so I actually learned this from Ron Randall. I set a very low goal, and that's a nail biter, because once you reach the goal, then you're committed to the book, even though I actually probably need double or 2.5 times that to really pay my costs. So that becomes a real nail biter. But the sense of momentum and the psychology behind it is really important.
I know that our pledge level is low. And we had, reached that in the first day, I think. But that was the same. I'm sure it's the same idea. John would know more about that, but that what you just said sounded like I think John has said something to that effect.
Yeah. And once again, the talk on the street is that if you fund quickly and you're starting to be, 150% funded, 200% funded, then the Kickstarter algorithm helps you be more noticeable on their pages and stuff. I don't know if that's true. That's just what I hear, and it could be another conspiracy theory. Who knows? But on the other hand, you go, what if it's not a conspiracy theory? I better cover my bases, is all I can say.
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of want to back up that theory, just because I do see more successful Kickstarters advertised than the ones that haven't been funded yet.
Yeah.
Because I do think the algorithm likes a winner too.
Yeah.
And it acts counterintuitive to like the crowdfunding thing. It makes more sense to promote the less successful ones more so they reach their goal, but it just doesn't work that way, unfortunately. So yeah, I think that's
yeah. When Keanu Reeves had a Kickstarter on, that's all you would hear about, because he was raising millions of dollars for his comic book.
Amazing. That's very counterintuitive, but it's good to know that if that is true, that as self-publishers doing it ourselves, that if we go in that low, that we know that as opposed to trying to reach for the sky with the pledge, that maybe it's better that we don't. So that's good.
Yeah, I think the other thing that I could talk about a little bit is ideally, I do think you should have the book done or close to done before you kickstart it. I have not done that. For the most of my Kickstarters, I have had very little of the book done, and that came down to simple finances. I need to be paid to work on this stuff. I have bills I have to pay, so I have to have money coming in. And so all of the Impossible Jones books, we had maybe 10 pages, maybe 12 pages drawn. But these were books that were 30, 48. This last one was 62 pages of story. So we had just a fraction of it done, and then we raised the money, and then I have that money in the bank, and I can pay David Hahn, and I can pay our colorist, and I can pay the printer, and we work for 5 or 6 or 8 months to finish off the book. This collection that I'm doing now, the Impossible Jones Ultra Cool Collector's Edition, is the first time. Well, all the book is done except 15 pages of new stuff, which David has already drawn six pages of that. So we're hoping actually the new stuff will be done by the time the Kickstarter is over. So it'll just be assembling the book. But because all the other Kickstarters paid for David and the printing and colorist and stuff like that, my initial $20,000 goal this time around actually does cover the cost of this book. We reached that 20,000, and it's going to cover the collection because there's almost no cost to it, right?
Wonderful.
But what I'm trying to do is raise enough money to do the next book. That's what I'm trying to do here. So I actually would like about another 20,000 from where we are, because that would pay for the whole next book, which would mean I could follow my own advice and finish the book before I kickstart it, because I'd have the money in the bank to pay myself, to pay David. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
this is the really dull, dirty part of the job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would also recommend someone having the artwork done before the campaign. It's hard to work under that kind of stress. I think once you promise something, it just kind of puts an added weight of you have to complete the thing now. And I don't know about you or anyone else doing Kickstarters without finishing the art, but I feel like that added stress kind of like makes my productivity go down, actually. So I would rather I guess work for free essentially, and then hopefully get some paycheck after the fact. But
Well,
I'm also one of the people who has a day job or a part-time day job on the side just to
right.
the bills work. So
Yeah, I can't talk to the electric company and say, I'll pay you when I get paid. They don't work that way,
yep.
So, but I mean, and I have, and right now I am on the other side of that, where Tom Grum and I kickstarted 5 years ago a book called Section 059, and that's still being drawn. Tom's got like 10 pages left to draw, but there was a time period in there. We have a son who has huge problems, and it became very hard for me to work on the book, and I lost a lot of time for like a year in there. And when I got my life a little more under control, I think Tom wants to sit by the lake and enjoy the view, and that's fine. I wish Tom can do that. I want him to do that, but he's got to finish drawing this first,
Right.
you know. So anyways, and there's a lot of stress over that. I hate putting out updates for that book because it's always like Tom's drawn 2 pages since last month, and I wish, like I said, I was part of the problem for a while. Now it's Tom's turn. There's guilt to go around. There's blame to go around. But it's not a fun place to be in. So I would recommend people avoiding that.
I think the sooner you get the book out after the campaign ends, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we had our book done, but that's good because it's a collection. It seemed like it was your guys as we were collecting things, and we were just waiting for a good time to get the book printed or get it launched so we could print it all out and get it to people. And I think we just waited for shipping prices and not of the books themselves, because we are printing in Hong Kong and overseas. So we have to make sure with those kind of bills, the prices had escalated over COVID just to outrageous levels of cost for that. So we really wanted the book to be affordable for everybody, but high quality too. And so that was a long delay on us trying to get the book done.
That makes sense. We're also printing in China as well with e-hang printing, and we're working with a print consultant. And I don't know how we would have done it without them. I'm so glad we got a print consultant for that because they were able to hook us up with e-hang printing, who is about half the price, even including shipping from China, than it would be to print at any of the printers in the United States for our. So that helped us keep our costs down. Yeah, thank you, print consultant who wants to remain anonymous for now.
I'm actually struggling with that right now for the Impossible Jones books. I'm kickstarting right now because the American printer who's printed the last one, which I'd like to go with because then I know they're going to match. You know what I mean? Same company, same specs, same machines. Those books will look perfect next to each other on the shelf. I don't think I'm talking out of school to say that's the printer is Jostens Yearbook Company. Guess what? We're entering yearbook season. This is when they are really busy.
Oh no.
And they cannot have the quick turnaround that they normally can guarantee. And I am looking at a considerably more expensive American printing that won't turn around quite as quick as I thought it would, or a considerably cheaper Chinese option, which will get here a few weeks later. You know what I mean? Because and I'm trying to balance out which is more important to me, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Terry, Karl, thank you so much for joining me for this. Let's end on this question, which is, who is your book for?
Yeah. So I'd say, obviously, first off, fans of our work, but secondly, I'd say fans of comic books in general, because Rachel and I have worked on so many books. You get to see such a range of comic book related material. Plus, I would actually really recommend this book for anyone that wants to be an artist in comics or likes comic book art, because you get to see the products, the images made from the sketch stage to the pencil stage, the ink stage, to the color stage, and we explain why and how we do it. And in the back of the book, we actually have a 27-step process of how we made the cover. So we cover all those things in detail. And so it's kind of a how-to. So not only is this about us, but it's also a tool for artists to learn how to pencil, to ink, to color. We really go into detail on all that stuff. I think it's a good, since we produce the entire image in-house, we can really discuss all the details of making your own comic book cover, your comic book page, etc. I actually think that's it ended up being more of a how-to book for artists than anything else, even though it's a spotlight on us, but I really feel like it's really a book on art and slash comic book art.
Can I ask you something, Terry?
Yeah.
In all that stuff, do you show like a sketch? We didn't use this one, and here's why.
Yeah, I show because I'll send anywhere from 1 to 6 sketches into an editor.
Right.
And for all these, assuming I have all the images still, I show everything. So there is, and I will, if there is 6 images of 6 sketches and 5 we don't use, I think I do discuss why that one was chosen.
I'm just always interested in what ended up on the cutting room floor and why. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a lot of cutting room floor stuff in here. Because there's sometimes when I'm very excited about an image, but I have so many ideas. I will literally go like 15 or 20 cover ideas. At that point, I don't always send those in. Then I self-edit it and pick out of that 1 or 2 definitely will merge. I'll do 15 or 20 cover sketches, but just send 1 in. I'll go, and I'll color it 2 different ways. This is the one. Trust me, I've been down the road. Let's not pick the wrong cover here.
Man, I would have done anything for a book like this when I was getting into comics. And it's like no secret, it's probably annoying to hear again at this point, but you and Rachel were such huge inspirations for me getting into comics. And I think
cool.
Well, when I was reading,
you know, Leila, they owe almost everything to me. So really, I'm your inspiration.
Yes.
Really.
Oh my gosh, Karl, thank you so much for Terry and Rachel.
No,
thank you.
that is far from the truth. Far from the truth.
Nice.
Here's
Well,
my dog, Jazzy. That's Jazzy.
You precious. Well, yeah, I wanted to say that The Art of Comic Book Inking was a huge, impactful book for me when I was getting into comics. So the idea that you're gonna get into inking and like decision making and all that stuff in your book, I think that's just such a wealth of information in there.
Just to let you know that like The Art of Comic Book Inking, like Gary Martin was Rachel's was who I introduced Rachel to be his assistant for a year. So that's who she actually ended up studying under. And then from that, then she ended up working on me. In that time, she developed her skills to such that she was able to work full time with me on comics.
Wow, that's
so that tied together. Yeah, and then Gary asked, and once she was working professionally, Gary came back and asked her to work on that book. So,
oh my gosh, that's
she made her own path.
I love it. That's
great.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, she's got such a wonderful line. She really does, and I'm glad it's being reproduced like with all of its like delicateness. That'll be really great to see.
Yeah, that was that. The book is titled The Art of Rachel and Terry Dodson, and I titled that book myself. I mean, I really wanted this to be a spotlight on Rachel's work, because unless you come to a convention and look at our pages in person or happen to own a page or at a gallery or something, you just cannot appreciate the level of craftsmanship that she has. It really it has to be seen to be believed, and you just you can't appreciate that on the page or on the screen. The actual scans of this are super high quality. I'm really proud to show off what she's doing.
All right. Well, with that, Karl, what is your book, or who is your book for?
Well, my book is for people who like my work, obviously David Hahn's work. Quite honestly, our colorist Ryan Cody, he's great too, and he's done a lot of really cool stuff. So if you're a fan of his work, come here. It's a romp of a comic. It is a, while it's a serious comic, I would say it doesn't always take itself seriously. I mean, I enjoy, tonally, I would compare it to like Buffy, where what's going on is serious, but there's jokes or humorous moments, more than jokes, not jokes. Jokes, I don't do jokes, but I do humorous moments. The idea is it's a thief who gains powers and is mistaken for a superhero and runs with it. She's scamming everybody, and of course that's a delicate tightrope to walk. So it's just kind of fun to see her thread that needle, and the different people who may or may not suspect something's up with her at some level. But I mean, it was partly inspired because I missed writing Harley Quinn, so there's a certain Harley Quinn aspect to it. Although as I worked on her, her personality is almost more like Catwoman with a sense of humor, because she's a very calculating person. You have to be to pull something like this off, right? Mm-hmm. And I realized the other day, no one's interested in this but me, but I realized the other day that Harley Quinn doesn't notice what other people think about her. It just goes right over her head. It doesn't even register. And Impossible Jones doesn't care what anyone thinks of her. So she knows what you think of her, and she just doesn't care, you know. And I think that's a very important distinction between those characters. So we have a lot of fun with the book. If you like fun comics, if you like exciting comics, fun comics, that's what I keep coming back to. This is the book for you, you know. And this is a great place to jump in because it's, you know, a self-contained, oversized hardcover. It's going to have a ton of back matter. We've got pinups, you know, from some of our alternate cover artists from the past. So we have an Adam Hughes in there. We have a Bill Sienkiewicz in there. We have a Terry Moore in there. We have a Jeff Smith in there. We have a Mike McCone. We have a Jonathan Case. We have a lot of really good people in there. And like I said, Arthur Adams, he's doing this fold out featuring all the characters. And it's going to be a great package. And it'll look really good on your bookshelf.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to hype my own book now, which is Sleepless, the complete collection. So this book is for people who are fans of romance and subtle magic and dark brooding, forbidden romance vibes. But our book is about Poppy, who is the illegitimate child of the just dead king. And the king's brother's now taking the throne, which is completely shifting the court. So there's a bunch of court intrigue in this. Poppy has a sleepless night, Cyrenaic, and the sleepless nights in this book are under a spell where they never sleep so that they can better protect the people they are sworn to protect. So Cyrenaic, our main male lead, is constantly tired, has bags under his eyes, but he's still very, very good at his job and very steamy. So they kind of reluctantly are falling in love with each other while Poppy's trying to dodge assassination attempts and like things are going on left and right. I would also like to say that our book seems to be popular with non-comics readers. So if you are someone who likes comics and you have a friend or a family member or a partner that just can't get into comics, this book is actually pretty great for them. I've heard people say like, my girlfriend read this comic and she really loved it and she doesn't read comics. So this might be a great foray or gateway drug into the comics universe if you're
Gateway
interested.
comic, that's good. It's
A
good to
gateway.
hear. Cool. I might like
Yeah,
that.
I have to say, I really love the bags under his eyes. I think that's brilliant.
That's a great concept.
I can see Timothy Chalamet playing him.
Oh, delightful. Yes. He would be good with the bags under the eyes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Terry's
it might be good to
ending.
mention when these end. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So Terry's ends on March 7th. Karl, when does your campaign end?
I believe it's the 14th of March, week from this coming Thursday, 7 at night Pacific Standard Time.
Cool. And mine ends, I believe, on March 26th. So yeah, we're gonna have links to all of our campaigns in the description below. So please check all of those out, share it with your people, because like Karl said, you know people we don't know, but you also know people who love the same books as you. So that would really help us out a lot if you would help share and spread the word. Karl, Terry, thank you so much for joining me today. And everyone else, thank you so much for joining us here at Helioscope's YouTube channel. Have a great day.